Okay, in this movie we're going to try to cover a bunch of questions that have come out or come up about Project 2. So I'm going to move quickly through some of them, maybe too quickly, but you can always rewind. Okay, so firstly, here's our little parfait glass, and this has all my retouching layers. I'm looking at inside my folder. I already put it on a different background. And then I have my color correction and retouching layers to try to integrate it more into this background. And my new foot on there. But what I want to do is I want to add some more strawberries because I think I'm getting ripped off. I have way too much yogurt and not enough strawberries. So one of the ways, there's lots of ways to do this. But what we don't want to do is just make it look like I've taken the same strawberry and moved it around. So I am now selecting the layer that this is on. I'm going to make a new layer above that so there's nothing on that layer. I'm going to take my clone tool and I'm going to clone from that. I'm holding down Option and clicking down here somewhere, and I'm going to clone a little chunk of strawberry. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to go back to my selection tool and pick Edit Free Transform. And that will allow me to move this around, change its size and scale, and I can make it look like a different piece, so it doesn't look just like the one that's above it. And I'm kind of squishing it sideways here. I'm holding down the Command key so I can grab these handles at the corner and distort them. Okay. Then outside it rotates it. I'm going to hit Return to select that, and I'm going to put that over there. Okay, so that one looks like it's in there. Now, if I move it to the dark side, oh my gosh, what a difference. We don't notice it, but there's a huge difference in color or weight between here and here. So you kind of have to be careful where you get the strawberry from so that it looks like it belongs where you're putting it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to use my lasso tool, and I'm going to take a chunk of strawberry from right here-ish. Now if I hit this button down here, it shows me my quick mask how hard of an edge that is. And there's nothing that hard edge down here. So I'm going to go under Select and modify that selection to feather the edge. And I'm going to feather it too. And now when I look with my quick mask, I can see it's softer. So that selection, I want to copy that and move it up to another layer. And that is done by Layer, New, Layer via Copy, or Command J. That's a good one to know. Whatever is inside the marching ants, when you do a Command J, will move up on its own layer. Okay, and now I can do the same thing. I'm going to take my Move tool, I'm going to move this guy up here, and then I'm going to start transforming him so he does not look the same as the other one, but I just want him to be a separate little chunk. I mean, that's the whole idea, so that it doesn't look like the last chunk of strawberry, but still, it needs to look scrumptious. It's a little dark to put over there, it's a little light to go over here. Where I'm going to put it, I want to put it right here-ish, I think. But I want to get rid of this light area. And I can do that by changing the blend mode to darken, and that gets rid of the light area. Or I can put a mask, here's a new mask layer, and paint with black at 100% in a softer brush. And what I'm painting on is the mask layer. I'm painting black to block out part of the image. Okay, so you can see how that gets rid of my little white area too. So there's another chunk of strawberry. The other thing I can do, if it looks too strong or too sticky outy, I can color correct it, or I can change its opacity. I'm going to turn the opacity down to 90 on this one, just so it's a little bit not so dark. Okay, and that's how you put strawberries in. So put some nice strawberries in, and if you do a good job, I shouldn't be able to tell where they came from. Okay, let's see. Next, we're going to move this glass to a new background. So I'm going to close up my folder here by hitting this little toggle arrow. And first I'm going to do is I'm going to look through the folder and make sure all these are linked. If I move this folder to a new project, into a new window, if they're not linked, they don't come with it. Which I always thought was strange, but that's the way it works. So now I have this glass, and I want to move him onto a new background. So here's my new background, and I've set this up at 5 by 6.5 by 300 dpi, okay, in RGB. And the reason it's 5 by 6.5 is because I've added a 1/4 inch bleed all the way around it, okay. So this is at the right size with bleed. It'll be ready to strip when I'm ready to strip it. So I'm going to move this off of there so I can actually grab this. Oh, this is harder than you think in this environment. I just want you to be able to see everything that's going on here. Okay, so here's my new untitled document. If I click on this one, I see this folder, and all I'm going to do is use my move tool because I'm going to move this folder into this background. And it will go in over the last layer that's selected over here. So if you don't see it, it may be because it's down here under all this other stuff. Now, with this thing over here, I'm going to dock these again. No, I'm going to get rid of that one. Don't need it. I'll leave it here. I'm just going to put this here. Okay. What I can do is select this whole folder and Command-T or edit free transform, and now I can transform. I want to hold my aspect ratio by holding down the Shift key. I can free transform my whole glass just like that. Okay. Now I put my lines in here to show my bleed, so I don't want anything to go outside of my bleed area. So that's a visual cue for me to be careful because that's all going to get cut off on the outside there. And that's a 1/4 inch all the way around. Alright, now my foot doesn't look so great down here. Partially it might be because I have a color correction on it somewhere. Right here to make it darker. And I don't want it darker, so I'm going to throw this color correction in the trash can, just like that. The other thing is I have this new heavy texture on my, or pattern on the surface that the glass is sitting on. And the glass should show some of that through. So to do that, I'm going to go down here to my little checkerboard. Now all of this, remember, all of this is underneath my glass folder. So down here I have this little checkerboard guy. And I am going to make a selection about like so around it. Okay? And then I'm going to, we're going to do the Command-J thing. And see how it made Command-J was that layer, new, layer via copy. So it copied what was inside the marching ants, and it made a new layer for me. So that's the only thing on this layer. If I could show you that. There you go. Oh, it's a little blurry, isn't it? That is not what I want. So I'm going to delete this. It's blurry because, oh, it's using this Gaussian blur. Sorry about that. I will explain smart objects, and they're a lot of fun, but right now I'm just going to see if this will copy without that. There we go. I'll turn my blur back on, rank, and now I have that. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is I want to move this up to the top, the very top of my layers. And I'm going to open up this folder, and I'm going to put this at the very top layer of my folder. So now it's inside the folder. So it's being governed by, or being masked back by this, and you can kind of see what's going on. So one thing I want to do, I'm going to turn the opacity down so I can see what I'm doing. That's kind of looking better already. But the glass would distort this, so I am going to distort it myself. I'm going to Command-T, or free transform, and then this little guy up here that looks like, I don't know what it looks like, something. I'm going to click on him, and then I can drag the center of this, and it's kind of a free transform thing, just to or free distortion tool, make it look like this glass is being distorted by, or the transparency is being distorted by the glass. Okay, I'm going to hit return to accept that, and now I've got this little distortion going on. It's too much going on, really. I'm going to set my, in this case, you should try these blend layers. There's all kinds of cool ones in here. I've tried them all, and I'm thinking overlay is the one for me in this case, which looks the most natural through the glass. But I don't want it all up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the mask. I'm going to hold down my option key so I get a reverse mask, and now it's black. I want to paint with white with a big, soft brush, bigger than that. Okay, I'm going to turn my opacity down because I don't want to do it all in one fell swoop. And then what I'm painting on is the mask layer. And as I go around here, you can see some of that checkerboard start to come through my glass. Okay, so kind of like this. And now when I back off of this, it should look a little more integrated into that background. Not too much, but just enough to let you know that there's something down there. Okay, so we moved the glass, we did the transform the foot. If you want to make, if you've done your comps in a landscape format, a horizontal format, they need to be in a vertical format. And the way to change them from horizontal to vertical is to make a new job, just like this one, and then drag your stuff from the horizontal one into the vertical one. Okay, that's just the easiest way to do it. Next, let's throw a text box in here, but we're going to do a color under it. So if I want to do my my body copy, which is, that's way too big. Let's go down here to 9-point Helvetica regular, and if I look down here, auto, and then here's my, and I don't want it centered either. Okay, and here's my text. Boy, for some reason, my text is invisible. Why do you think my text is invisible? Because it's inside my glass layer and under the mask. So if I dragged it to on top of the glass, you'd see it. But it's not going to work under here. So I got to get it out. Out! Close that guy up. So here's my text. I want to put it down here, but I can't see it down here because it's just too checkery, too checkerboardy down there. So, oh, also when I started typing, I actually made a text box by dragging. So I'm going to show you that one more time. That's how you make a text box, by dragging. And in Photoshop, you don't have to do that. You can just start typing. And in Design, you have to make a text box. So just so you know, I can just click and start typing, but I'd have to tell it where to return, otherwise it would continue typing across the page. So for my my little text box down here, I want to put a box behind it now and fill it with color so I can read it. So I make a box about yay big, I make a new layer, and then I can fill it with, I'm going to take my tool, my eyedropper tool, sample this color right here, and then go fill with foreground color. Okay, and then Command D to deselect, drag this under here, and now I have text on a text box. I can even turn the opacity of that down and still be able to read the text. Move in here a little bit more. These are not the real words, but that's how you get text in a text window. And then the last thing I want to show you real quick is not going to happen because I'm out of time. So maybe in the next movie. All right, thanks for watching.